When I first started reviewing my travel experiences for this channel, there were a few airlines that I was really keen to try. Well, today I get to cross one of them off the list as I'm in Paris about to jump on board a flight to Helsinki with Finnair. Will Finnair be everything I hope? Let's find out. Welcome to Edgington Airborne. Let's get going.
Located around 14 miles from Paris, Charles de Gaulle Airport is huge, with Terminal 2 actually comprised of 7 sub-terminals lettered A to G. So if you're travelling through here, make sure you know which terminal your flight departs from. Finnair, for example, operate around 5 flights daily from Terminal 2D, which is dominated by low-cost airline EasyJet, and there's plenty of orange in the check-in area as a reminder. I had plenty of time before my flight and was eager to explore the departures area here in Terminal 2D. Unfortunately, however, I found the selection of shops and restaurants was a little lacking and only a limited number of options were available. I suppose with so many flights from here on a low-cost carrier, the focus is mainly on getting the aircraft away as quickly as possible, and there was ample seating available for passengers waiting to depart.
So, thoughts on Paris Charles de Gaulle Terminal 2D? Well, if you like chairs, it's fantastic, but I'm not a big fan. Let's go and find an aircraft instead.
Finnair were founded over 90 years ago and were originally known as Aero, carrying just 269 passengers in their first year. Until 1936, flights were operated using seaplanes, but things are a little bit different today, with around 13 million passengers travelling on board a fleet made up predominantly of Airbus aircraft. Now, as I've said at the start of this video, I've been keen to fly Finnair for a very long time, but my main issue has always been the price, which I generally find to be quite high. This trip was actually booked via Air France, and my ticket from Birmingham to Paris and then onwards to Helsinki cost just £103, which is significantly cheaper than booking directly with Finnair from either Paris or London. The flight from Paris to Helsinki is a little over 2 hours, so I had plenty of time to enjoy the cabin of this A319, which is laid out in a standard 3-3 configuration, seating up to 144 passengers. Despite the aircraft being 19 years old, I found the cabin to be in good condition, and as well as air vents and reading lights, this aircraft also featured drop-down screens, which is something you don't see often anymore, but I am a big fan of. One thing less impressive is the current trend with airlines to make toilets as small as physically possible. In Europe, many airlines charge for onboard refreshments, but Finnair do at least offer complimentary tea, coffee or juice, which was very welcome. Finnair also offer a selection of snacks available to purchase, but I personally found the prices to be a little steep. I was quite hungry however, so I decided to purchase a chicken Caesar bagel. Now, as nice as the bagel was, I'm really not sure that it was worth the €8 that I paid.
So the snack service is complete and we've taken a look around the cabin. So now let's take a look at the seat that you could expect to find on board the Finnair Airbus A319.
The seat fitted to the Finnair A319 is a similar design to the menu that I've seen before, and at the top is a very full literature pocket containing information on connecting to the Wi-Fi, the A319 safety card, onboard snack menu, in-flight magazine and a shopping guide, so there's plenty there to read if you get bored in flight. To the right of this you'll find a coat hook, which I imagine gets a lot of use in Finland's colder winter months. Like so many modern seat designs, the bottom of the literature pocket is exposed, so it's not really a usable place for personal storage. The tray table is adjustable, and as you can see, there's a small space to keep your drink in place if the flight does get a little bit bumpy. Storage can be found towards the bottom of the seat in this netted pouch, and as you can see, there's just about enough room in here for my trusty notebook. And then we come to the legroom, which I found to be a little bit tighter than I expected. Now, it wasn't terrible, but neither was it particularly comfortable. I mentioned the in-flight magazine a moment ago, and I have to say that the Blue Wings magazine is probably one of the more interesting that I've read recently. It contains the usual route map and information about Finnair's fleet, but I particularly enjoyed the facts page. For example, I had no idea that 75% of Finland is covered by forest. Wi-Fi is also available on board Finnair flights, and I was impressed that a number of features were free of charge, including an interactive route map. You could also browse the shopping guide and enjoy a range of audiobooks. Accessing the internet was chargeable, and I decided against buying a full package for this flight. However, as always, I did keep my social media followers updated with my journey when I landed. And if you haven't already, why not consider following me on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter.
Seatbelt sign's just been switched on. We'll be on the ground in Helsinki soon. Of course, as always, do make sure to stick around for my final thoughts on today's trip at the end of the video. For now, let's take a look out the window.
Hyvät matkustajat, tervetuloa Helsinkiin paikan aikaan 19.05. Pidättyjen istumaan paikoillanne turvavyöt kiinnitettyinä, kunnes valokympi on saavutettu ja kone täysin pysähtynyt. Varoittajan kone valette matkatavara hyllyjen lukko, ettei tavarata pääse putoamaan. Pienestä menestelystä huolimatta olette viihtyneet tällä lennolla. Kiitoksia, mukavaa päivän jatkoa tai illan jatkoa ja tervetuloa uudelleen.
So, welcome to my hotel room in Helsinki after that flight with Finnair. This, of course, is a part of the video that I'll share with you my final thoughts on today's trip. Starting off in Paris. Now, Charles de Gaulle Terminal 2D, it's not my favourite in Paris at all. Maybe because it's so dominated by EasyJet, but I find that there's just not a lot going on in there, except for chairs. But the choice of food and drink I found a little bit lacking, so I'm not going to rush to travel through that particular part of Paris in future. And then we come to the flight, and as I said at the start of the video, Finnair's an airline I've been really looking forward to trying for a long time now, so let's have a look at how I felt about it. And we'll start off with the cabin, and I must say I'm a big fan of the cabin design overall. It felt really bright and clean and welcoming, probably down to the grey tones that they use in there, really enjoyable. There was a negative to the cabin though, and that had to be the seat. Now, it certainly wasn't the worst seat I've ever experienced, but the legroom was a little bit tight for me personally. As I've said in other videos before, I'm about 6 foot tall, so I'm not the shortest person in the world, but it was pretty cramped. That's something to consider in future for taller passengers. Maybe opt for an extra legroom seat on the exit row. The crew today, well, they were very efficient, but they weren't particularly warm. That may be a cultural thing, I'm not sure, but they weren't really smiling in the cabin. It was quite abrupt, the conversations they had with passengers. But as I did say, they did work very hard and the service was flawless. It was also really nice to have a free soft drink. I went for orange juice, but of course coffee and other waters, for example, is available. The snack though, that's not free of charge, and I did personally find it maybe a little bit expensive. It certainly stung when I had to get my card out to pay about €8 for the sandwich on board, although it was pretty tasty. A couple of really nice points from Finnair that I found today though, one of which was the fact they have the drop down overhead screens. Really useful to be able to track your progress in flight, and something most airlines don't offer, particularly in Europe anymore. And also they do have Wi-Fi enabled on board all of their aircraft. Now, I didn't pay to surf the internet, but you could still use your phone to again track your progress like on the onboard screens, and also free audiobooks and magazines are available, so that's a really nice touch from Finnair. And overall, I did enjoy my flight with Finnair today, although what I would say is they're probably not top of my list anymore to try. I've given them a go, but maybe on a long haul flight in future, I'd certainly give them another look. Around Europe though, I personally think there are better carriers. Let me know if you agree with what I've said in the comments section below. Good or bad, I do read them all. And if you did enjoy the video, leave a like by hitting that thumbs up button. Of course, if you want to see more videos from me and this channel, do subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a future upload. And most of all, take care.